Why do I even bother opening my mouth before we start?
Welcome everybody back to another episode of Deep Fried Dice. We're back here with Among Us. Hopefully you're here right after listening to the prologue, since this is all going up on day one. We're happy to be back. And we left off on kind of a little bit of a cliffhanger, I suppose. At the very least, it was just a prologue.
Yeah, prologue is meant to, leave you on the edge of your seat and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So don't feel too bad for Wachowski and Eddie. They were bad people.
They were sacrificial lambs.
Yeah, exactly. Sacrifice them to the god of the story.
Yep. And they were bad people, that's
true. Wachowski instantly was like, we're going to teach him a lesson. We're going to kill him. Ultimate lesson.
Yeah, you immediately just went to wanting to kill Nate and Johnny.
Yeah. I have a feeling I very much jumped to the death thing very quickly. I think there should be more steps.
Yeah, but I don't know if that was your character of Wachowski or just you playing anything.
Any kind of criminal, yeah.
That's how you play a criminal.
Yeah,
kill them.
That's true.
That's how Devin plays a criminal.
Oh, yeah.
How you play a criminal may be very different.
Okay, so for Among Us, our two people are going to be playing two, basically investigators, kind of special agents, that kind of a thing. And I suppose now might be a good time to kind of introduce the setting at least a little bit. You'll get the feel for it as we play along. But basically, Among Us takes place in 1947. And it's, for all intents and purposes, as far as any of the common people know, it's exactly like our time of 1947 was. At least insofar as we know it. Which is to say it's not historically accurate. But that's fine. But in this timeline... Aliens came. About a year ago, they kind of made themselves known, and... well, the human race being the human race, especially post-World War II, reacted very fearfully. They didn't like the aliens, they tried to attack the aliens, and that didn't go very well for our beloved human race. And so the aliens, they ended up coming to a concord at a certain point, and they basically, using their superior technology, they wiped the memories of everybody on Earth, because there are gods. Not literally, but their technology may as well be that of gods, as far as 1947 is concerned. Or even our time.
Do they have iPhones?
No, they don't have iPhones. They have gray phones.
Oh, gray nice, nice.
Does it come in rose gold?
No, just the one color, gray.
Fuck.
It's in the name, Elliot.
And basically part of this concordant was uniting very specific factions of humanity. Very like there's the secret organizations, and then there's the really double secret organizations. And those are the only ones that really know about this. The aliens living basically on a flotilla above our planet for reasons that you'll kind of put together as we move along. But regardless, our two I don't want to use the words heroes, but our two characters.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Our two characters, Walt and Wes, are agents of a special organization in the Concordant called Point. They're basically just super secret special agents, spies, that kind of a thing. Their job is to protect everything through their special missions.
It's a pretty tall order.
Yeah.
It is.
It's just the two of us.
We're the only two agents.
The only two agents at all.
Just us two clowns.
You might be the clown.
Nah.
We open up back in space on the satellite, kind of just a government facility, as a lot of places up in the flotilla are at this point. there's a lot of civilian stuff going on, specifically the alien race, the Greys, as the humans call them, because humans like to put things into colors.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's like the weakest form of social commentary. It doesn't actually add anything to the conversation.
Oh, no, of course not.
That's what I specialize in.
Lost us a bunch of viewers, I'm sure.
I'm sure, But we open up back on this station, the same station where we saw our friend Nathaniel Murphy get interrogated in the prologue. But this time we're kind of met with this one individual, Wes. And do you want to go ahead and describe yourself?
Yes. Oh no, okay, yeah. I do want to describe myself. Kind of tall, kind of a weedy looking guy, slick back blonde hair, clean shaven, dressed, like, nicely but not overly nicely.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, like, the 1940s equivalent of, like, a nice shirt and jeans.
Nice. Yeah.
You know? Yeah, that kind of equivalent. Yeah. I assume he's sitting kind of casually.
Yeah, sure.
He just looks like a casual individual and not someone you'd really give, like, a second glance to,
Okay, yeah, for sure. Wes, you've basically been called here to meet with one of your new partners. You've been taken out of your cell, the old one that you were in, with Point, a few weeks back.
Okay.
After most of your cell were, like, a couple of them were kind of taken away and put into other places, but specifically because half of your cell was sent off away from this planet and into, like, deep space.
Okay.
To a mission. And it's up to you whether you're upset that you didn't get to go or not, but
I think maybe the idea of going to deep space makes him a bit nervous, so he's kind of okay with it. Like, yeah. I think the whole being in space right now thing makes him a bit nervous.
Yeah, I mean, considering
even
a year
now.
ago, human beings had never gone outside of the atmosphere.
Yeah, so he's pretty
You're
okay
very much
with
a
it.
boots on the ground kind of guy.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, because as you know, as Wes knows at the very least, the missions that send you out through the channels out into deep space, into the old ruins of the aliens' empire, usually humans don't get to go. It's very rare.
I see. It's usually the Greys.
Yeah, they're usually the ones who get those kinds of missions, and some people are not too happy about that.
Humans could go into deep space too.
Well,
yeah.
Very few humans have ever left gone past the flotilla.
Right.
Well, one, they don't know how the human physiology will react way out there.
That's fair.
And two, humans don't really know how to interact with anything out there.
How many in my old cell were human?
2.
Okay.
Yeah, you worked with 2 other humans and one Gray.
Cool.
You and one of the humans were sent off, and the Gray and the other human were the ones who got sent off onto a planet far away, as far as you know.
Cool. Good to know. So I'm waiting for my new partner?
Yeah, you're here waiting for your new partner. You're being put into another cell with you total 4 people, and you're, as far as you know, you're only meeting one of them right now.
Okay.
Speaking of which, Walt, do you want to introduce yourself as you head down the kind of chrome hallways?
Okay.
To meet with your new partner.
Okay, so I'm Walt.
Spoiler alert, it's Wes.
Yeah, spoiler alert, it's Wes.
Spoilers.
Okay, so Walt...
My identical twin.
God. Walt is, probably, like, medium height. I'm very short, so I don't know what's technically medium or technically tall. So he's like about medium height, average height. He's very much Iranian descent, but he's American born. So he's got, black, slightly curly hair, big, beautiful nose. He's got like maybe not quite chiseled cheekbones, but they're pretty up there. Average physique, but he has a camera, kind of like strapped around across his neck, I don't know what they're called, they're straps. It doesn't look like the camera of today, which, they can come from very big or very small, and they're usually compact in leather cases. This looks a bit more clunkier, but, like the lens is huge, and it looks maybe a little bit more modern than the cameras of 1947.
Yeah. Normally, I mean, the kinds of cameras in 1947, like the Polaroid just came out, but this one is definitely, it looks, well, it's using gray tech, and it looks a lot more, to our eyes, modern.
Yeah.
It's a little bit juxtaposed against your own, like, cut. You look like somebody from the 40s.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you both do.
Yeah, I'm wearing the general, I guess, working attire of, like, a businessman, maybe, like, a journalist or whatever. I guess that would be, like, slacks, belt, shirt tucked in.
All right. As you walk along, you see like the doors to either side. There are a couple people like walking past you. A couple of them, you know, nod to you. You walk by a few of the grays. You just work alongside them. However you guys choose to trust them or not trust them is up to you. But you guys do work alongside them.
Yeah,
often.
right.
And other than maybe some specific events, there's not a whole lot of reason not to trust them. Other than generally not trusting people who aren't like you.
Unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
That's our official stance here. Racism is unfortunate.
Racism, unfortunate.
Oh, God damn it.
But as you walk along, passing by your fellow, not all of them are point agents, but your fellow
colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
You do, looking down the hall, you see this man sitting there, seeming to be waiting for somebody himself. He looks probably not as well dressed as you, but you know, nice.
Is he in the place where we're meant to meet up?
Yeah.
Okay. Would I have been told who I was working with beforehand?
You've been told his name is Wes, and you have been informed that he is human.
Okay.
Because the thing is, the Greys almost always take on human guises.
Well, yeah, I guess it makes things easier for them.
Yeah, it does. It does lead to more distrust, though, ironically enough, because you never really know which one is which. And a lot of them even live planet-side, just integrated into society, just looking like humans.
Was I given a last name for Wes, or, like, did I have to go searching into some kind of, like, profiles?
Yeah, I'm sure that you were.
Right. Elliot, could you please give me Wes's last name?
Oh, it's Marshall. Wes Marshall.
Alright, thank you. Alright.
With
two L's here. Okay.
And this Walt is actually your first time being put into a point cell.
Ooh.
You've heard of this organization because you have worked for the GC for a while, which is the Grey Concordant. But you've worked mostly as a freelancer. Yeah. Kind of doing a lot of little things. Even like so far as to say you've worked to to get intelligence for other point cells. Yeah. But you've never actually been put into
I've kind of
yourself.
been like the support team till now, and now I'm actually getting the forefront of an actual cell. Yeah,
and you're not sure exactly like why, what led to this, but you're here. You have been invited, or ordered, you know, I'm not sure which one. But you have been put into a cell, and how you feel about that, I don't know.
Well, Walt will walk up towards this somewhat nicely dressed man, not as nicely dressed as me, and then I kind of extend my hand for a handshake, and I go, US?
I am, as a matter of fact. I take it you're Walt?
Yep, Walt Bourke-Black. And then I shake his hand.
Yeah, he'll shake it. No, he doesn't shake hands.
He looks at disgust at my outreached hand, like, ugh.
I don't shake hands. Yeah, it was nice to meet you.
Same to you. Sorry, I'm not going to do an American accent. Like, I've decided now, no. I'm not going to bother. No, I'm not going to bother.
No. It's okay. We can all imagine.
Yeah, I've gone as far as to make a list of slang terms, and that's it. That's all I'm going to do.
Fair. All right. Cool. Do we know like we're just meeting here? Are we waiting for anyone else?
As you meet with your new partner, the door beside you slides open with a bit of a whir, and a man comes out with a cleanly pressed suit, and he looks at you two. He has, like a thick mustache. And,
nice.
And he says, "Oh, I'm glad the two of you have met. Please come in."
I will go in wherever he's pointing. Do we know him? Is he
like a supervisor,
officer, or whatever? Yeah. Is he our boss?
he's basically your supervisor.
Well, cool, I kind of step out of the way to let
his name is
Wes through first.
Oh, he gives you a nod.
Nod back. I'm good at nodding.
Walks back. That's fine. A good skill to have.
You'd be surprised. Some people do not have that skill.
All right, we go in, I assume.
Yeah, but yeah, you know him. He's basically your supervisor is a good term for it. Mm-hmm. He's the head of your point cell. He's not out on missions with you guys.
Right.
He's probably the head of many cells.
Right.
But his name is Ken Gunderson.
Ken
Gunderson. Yes.
Ken or Kent?
Ken.
K-E-N. Okay.
Like Kendall.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if there was a T in there I wasn't hearing. Right. Ken Gunderson. That's a cool name.
But he leads you in, and you two follow him in, the door shutting behind you just automatically. And he gestures to the chairs. And walking into here, you see it looks kind of like a normal office. It's kind of it's definitely a far cry away from like the chrome like hallways that you just exited from. It has more of like a human feel.
It looks more
Does
normal.
He have like a carpet and like leather seats and stuff?
He does.
Yes.
Yeah. And
panel
wooden
walls.
like a proper wooden desk.
Oh, nice.
And like a bookshelf with like real books.
Real books.
Yep.
Shit.
And he motions for you guys to sit down as he takes his place behind his own desk, and he starts flipping through papers. A few awkward moments pass.
Wes would like to take those awkward moments to just kind of look around the room for anything notable, aside from the real books. I guess any indicators that might give him personal information about this guy. That's not too weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you should roll for this?
This
kind of question will come up a bit in this system because of how we're using it.
If I understand the system right, which I might not, I have a skill called Observe.
Yes.
And I'm proficient or specialized in that.
Okay.
I have Insight. I forget what that means, but...
Oh my god, you meant to write this down.
I did. I wrote down Insight.
God.
And I assume I thought I'd remember what I meant by that.
You just never defined it.
I think I did. I think Insight means I'm good at, like, getting insight on people specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, I would say I roll for that. I could roll Observe for that.
What value would you use?
Oh, shit.
Probably truth, because you're looking for the truth.
So for the audience, the system that we're using is Cortex Plus, and unlike in the last episode in the prologue, we are actually using character sheets for this, because we're now using actual characters for the actual story. The way that Cortex Plus works is it's a highly modular system, very narrative-based, and that's why I love it, and I've chosen it for this game, because I could make it however I wanted. And characters are built off of a few core stats, which sounds kind of obvious, but in Cortex Plus you end up kind of flipping them out depending upon what kind of game you're playing. You could play like a entirely soap opera style drama, which is what the Smallville RPG is, which uses Cortex Plus. Or you could play an action-based heist thing, which is what Leverage is, another Cortex Plus game. But what I chose to do is kind of mix the two up, and our characters, Walt and Wes, are defined by 6 values and 11 skills. Skills are kind of how they would work in most other RPGs. They're just a definition of skill and specialization and like what you can do. Whereas a value is more specific to the narrative structure of the game. Now the thing is, every roll that these two will make will use at least a value and a skill. If there's no value that's relevant, then the roll likely doesn't need to be made, because it's not really developing the story at all. So, for this, where you want to kind of analyze the situation and kind of get a feel for your new boss, Ken Gunderson. What value do you think that
I
you'd
would say
use?
trust.
Trust?
Ooh, trust.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for those of you at home, the 6 values that our characters are defined by is compassion, hope, identity, truth, trust, and unity.
Yep.
Now, for trust, are you going against your statement? I can't read your statement.
I'm sorry.
You write like a doctor.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm not sure if I can
actually
read my statement.
It's not as bad as a doctor.
I think, okay, my trust statement is, in this kind of world, I worry the only one I can trust is me. Myself.
Okay, so it's actually directly relevant to your statement. It's neither neutral or against it.
Yeah, okay.
All of our characters' statements, or all of our characters' values are defined by a statement.
Mm-hmm.
Their statement is, like Elliot just read, just a very brief look into the character. And one of the points of the system is to try and challenge those statements and develop yourself as a character.
Mm.
This one is directly relevant to your statement. So you can just roll your normal trust, which is a D8.
Yep.
And then you roll your observe, a D8.
Yep. 2 D8s.
And you can add your insight, so that's another D6.
Oh, dang!
Oh my god.
And your distinction, intuitive.
Oh, fuck, I do have a distinction. Yeah!
You add another D8.
Fuck, I've got so many dice!
You do. And that's common in this system, because you're often going to be rolling bigger dice pools depending upon what you're doing. You're always going to have at least a value and a skill, so that's at least 2 dice. And then if you have a specialty, you'll add a D6. And if you have a distinction that's relevant, you'll either add a D8 if it's good, or a D4 if it's bad. And it's up to you whether to use the D4 or not.
Okay.
Now, out of all of your dice, you only keep 2 of them.
Okay. So you just want to take, like, the 2 highest numbers, probably?
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Roll these bitches. Okay, I got 2 8s, a 3, and a 2. So I'm going to take the 2 8s.
16.
Okay.
Yes. That's
2 8s,
the number.
3, and a 2. Oh, okay, so 16, 12. Okay. And what are you trying to kind of put together?
I guess what kind of man he is. What kind of person he's like.
Okay. You get the
What kind of boss he's like.
You get the feeling that Ken, who you haven't worked with yet, you actually worked under a different individual in your past cell. And this is only your second cell ever, so you don't know if it's common to switch supervisors very often or not.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be a better word than supervisor, but I'm just going to keep using supervisor. Because we know what it means. Yeah, I know. I'm such a bad world builder, I haven't defined the entire structure of this organization.
Yeah, Anthony, you really
I
have got
really
to
need to get it
ball.
together. Frankly, we should just delete this whole recording.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I mean, we're wasting the audience's time, Anthony.
Yeah. So, looking about, you can see that Ken seems to be an individual who really, he values kind of almost like an old world kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he values kind of a traditional structure to things.
Okay.
Based on everything you're seeing, you see a lot of like classical literature up in the books, as well as a couple like army manuals, that kind of a thing. You get the feeling he's served in a military, and so he likely values that kind of structure, which makes sense considering he's now a supervisor of a highly specialized organization. More than that, you're unsure.
Good to know. That's more than I start out with. Good to know.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do I know Ken from previous encounters?
Would you like to?
Yes.
You can spend a plot point to say that you've worked with him.
Oh shit, we start out with 3. We start out with 3, don't we? Okay.
I forget, can you gain more?
Yes.
Okay,
If
that's
we
right. Good enough.
if someone rolls a 1.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So plot points are how they're kind of a meta currency, kind of like, while they're very similar to how fate points are in Fate. They are a bit different. They are used to manipulate the story in certain ways. For instance, I offered to let Devin, who's playing Walt, spend one of his 3 plot points to say that he has worked with Ken before. You can do stuff like that with your plot points. They start out with 3 at the beginning of a story-wise episode, and they gain them by either using distinctions in a bad way, having them be more trouble than good. They earn them by rolling 1s, which give them plot points, but also give me special bad guy points.
I do not like this.
And, generally by doing, like if they do cool things or something, I might be like, yeah, take a plot point or something, really in character or something like that. So you spend one of your plot points. I'm
spending one of my plot points to say that I've previously worked with Ken, probably as like a support. Like he's like, okay, yeah, go to Walt and give you some photos or whatever. You've been an informant. Yeah, I've been an informant for him and in the cells that he organizes and supervises as well.
Okay, sure. And as you sit there with Ken, kind of flipping through his papers, that awkward silence going on.
I kind of, maybe not exactly break the awkward silence, but I go, what's buzzing, Gunderson?
The usual. A few cells out here and there. One of them just got sent out there, and he kind of motions toward the window where you see just that deep black of space.
Wes tries not to look out the window.
Wait. Does it have like a proper like wooden windowsill as well? That's kind of like been glued on the inside.
I would say no.
Plastic flowers.
I would say no. It kind of, the aesthetic kind of stops at the window.
Damn it!
That kind of a thing.
Gotta commit to an aesthetic.
Yeah, fucking Gunderson.
Jeez. But he continues. Few of them, one of them sent out there. A few of them here on the flotilla, and now there's you guys. Tell me, have you met with either of your other two partners?
No, sir.
All right. One's a Soviet kid named Peter. Mm-hmm. The other one's one of these Greys.
All right. Peter, then.
Got a name?
Yonder.
Himself.
Peter and Yonder. All
right, good Peter, Soviet kid, got a last name, sir?
I'm sure he does, he says, kind of like flipping through his papers.
Walt kind of looks at Wes and then kind of like very, very subtly roll his eyes.
And he kind of nods at you guys and says, "So you two, have you heard about anything that's happened down in Philadelphia?"
Can't say I have, sir.
I don't see why you would have yet, but you know how cells are. They share information between each other. It's all part of the job.
Yeah. Haven't caught any new gossip.
All right. Well, truth be told, we're unsure of exactly what's going on down there either. We picked up a man named Nathaniel Murphy. Seemed to be the only survivor from that place. Something strange going on. Well, I guess strange is a relative term. Strange to how things used to be, anyway.
So, strange enough to have a survivor? What happened down there?
Like I said, we're not sure. That's where you guys come in. That's your job.
Investigate. Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Standard procedure,
That
I
is
guess?
literally the job. You are investigators.
Does Walt do that out loud?
This is me having a moment.
Yeah, that's
all right.
I've got one lead for you guys.
Oh, thank God.
Not sure where your other two are. I'm sure they're out investigating themselves. But I got one lead for you. There's an investigator, kind of like what you used to be, Walt.
Oh.
Just an informant. We got an informant here and he kind of motions out to the flotilla you see kind of floating in space above the planet. He has some information of some kind, at least as far as I know. So you're to go meet with him. It's the only lead I have.
Thank you for the lead, sir.
Yeah, it's better than no lead.
Good luck.
We dismissed as Walt kind of like gets up from the chair.
He doesn't answer after saying good luck. He's just continuing to flip the papers.
Well.
Yeah, Wes just gets up and walks out.
Yeah, Walt's following this goddamn blonde boy here.
This goddamn what did you call me?
I said blonde boy.
Oh, okay. I couldn't understand your accent.
Oh, fuck you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going out. And I suppose heading in the direction?
Yeah. You guys,
Ooh.
Yeah?
While Wes is in front of me and like he's like, I guess power walking to where he needs to go.
No, he's casual. He doesn't power walk.
Power walking.
He doesn't power walk.
Okay. Well, I guess he's got a bit of a leg up on Walt because
he's a tall boy.
Yeah, he's a tall boy. Walt's not got as long legs. He kind of very quickly takes a photo of Wes. I really forgot his name.
Does Wes hear this?
Well,
you
hear a click, but then
behind you, and just a very, very slight
and
whir.
then I turn off the camera and put it back to where it belongs on my chest.
I'm gonna assume clicks and noises aren't too weird around these parts and just brush it off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask. I guess on the way there, I'm gonna talk to Walt a bit if I must.
Yeah, I kind of I catch up.
That was a joke.
I catch up a bit. Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him. So, is this your first time in a cell, or
first time in a cell?
You get moved from
first
somewhere?
First time in a cell, not the first time working with one.
I see. This is my second one. Got reassigned.
Oh, what was the reassignment for?
Oh, nothing bad. Just half the cell got sent off, so the rest of us got put in different ones. You know how it is.
I see.
Yeah.
So where the other half went?
Deep space?
Oh, deep space.
Yeah.
Was they both great?
Nah, one of them was human.
Oh, that's surprising.
Yeah.
We don't usually get to go off.
Yeah, lucky for him, I suppose.
Yeah,
I can't say I was thrilled at the idea.
I don't know if
it was
lucky going into deep space. Like, I know new stuff, all that kind of stuff, great things to take photos of, but honestly, I got people here at home.
Yeah, I'm not too comfortable being on this flotilla, so going deeper into space, can't say it appeals to me.
Oh, it's not too bad. Honestly, you know what gets me at that night trying to have a nap? Fucking, you keep hearing the buzzing, keep hearing the whirring. It's just no stop, no silence. Fucks me up sometimes.
I don't mind it. I like the white noise, but I can see how it would bother you.
The audience is reminded of the buzzing from the prologue.
Ooh, yeah, buzzing.
The bees!
Bee-powered spaceship.
Yes!
Their technology.
Bees.
Bee power.
Space bees.
So what'd you do before all of this, Walt?
Well, what were you doing before all this?
This and that. I did stuff. I think that's the best description I can come up with right now.
Right, guess you do need to get your story order before you meet, the other two in our cell.
I'm not sure I like that description. I dealt with money,
Oh.
I dealt with money. That's, yeah.
Alright, I'm going to take it that you didn't exactly deal it with the lawful way.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say I it wasn't always breaking laws.
Oh, yeah.
I like to think you're like flipping a coin between your fingers.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, he's got a coin he fiddles with. Sure.
Well, that's it. Most bankers, they're either in or out in law, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's a good way to describe it. But I think I asked you what you did.
I was just a war journalist. Got back home. Ended up myself as an informant.
That's, quite a step up, I would think. From war journalist.
I don't know. I think they're kind of similar. Like, obviously, better pay here. I don't know if the danger level...
I would hope.
Yeah. I don't know if the danger level's any different, but, I get new tech. Love this camera.
It's quite fancy.
Honestly, I don't need to hold on to the photos after I've taken them. I don't have to change the casing whenever I need to get my photos out or put new photos in order to take them. It's great. All I gotta do is access a terminal, and bam, I've got the photos.
That's something.
It is. Oh boy, it is something.
Yeah, this Gray's technology is, well, if you don't mind the phrase, out of this world.
Very funny, very funny.
Insert laugh track.
Do you want me to insert a laugh track in post? I can do that.
Oh my god.
That's up to you, Tom.
No, but you have to insert it now.
Alright, hold on. There we go. There's the laugh track.
Oh, fuck.
You guys talk and get to know each other a bit. I like to think that Walt probably prattles on a bit about the camera.
Yeah.
As you walk down the last couple hallways, eventually getting to the pod that you'll enter. You get into it and it automatically takes off. Again, the Gray's technology is just ridiculous.
Out of this world.
You had to repeat it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the laugh track again. Oh, there it goes.
That's how it goes.
It's beautiful.
Go on.
But the pod takes off, the two of you inside of it. You're the only two in there, and it kind of whirs along. I like to think that there's just to develop the aesthetic a bit, to give it more of a like old school sci-fi type of a thing. I like to think that there's like an impractical ring that like goes around the pod.
Oh, yeah. Just visually
speaking, just and as it flies through the flotilla, you see the flotilla is even if you don't like space, you got to admit that this is like a really amazing sight, and it kind of has to be. It is the only thing left of the Greys' world. They used to rule empires, from what you understand. Even that you have trouble wrapping your head around, because empires spanning an arm of the galaxy is kind of a ridiculous notion. But according to them, they used to rule all of that, and now they're left with just this flotilla out here. Refugees themselves here on this planet. Most of them live out here on the flotilla. Some of them, like I said, integrated down below. Looking out over it, you can see kind of basically cityscapes over these ships. Atmospheres built up over them. You see like lakes down there, gardens, that kind of a thing, and just buildings upon buildings. Some of them going very high up into the quote sky. Some of them closer to the ground. You pass by these, taken past one of the city ships, past another one, and to a third. This one is kind of like covered over the top by the ship itself. It's more self-contained, not open. But you lock into place the kind of the disc around the pod, stopping its whirrings. It slowly stops its whirring and locks itself into place.
Okay.
And
cool.
The pod opens up with you guys looking out over the streets, for lack of a better term, of this city. You see like a little terminal that you have to pass by, give your credentials, that kind of a thing.
Oh.
Not everybody's free to use these pods for travel all the time. You know, you're using kind of a special.
We're special boys.
Specialist boys.
You are special boys. You're like, I mean, Point is very much the most special of the special boys. You're the classic trope of you have your goal, and you don't have any, there's no rules to get to it. You can kind of just go
have that
above
option
everything
to us because we're so special.
I like that.
Of course, doing that a lot might put you into all sorts of trouble.
Yeah,
but but technically speaking, you guys are out of the bounds of the law for the purposes of your mission. But you guys head off. You get a nod from the soldier standing guard at the pod, and you look out past like the glass wall. You can see all sorts of people kind of just milling about down the streets. Most of them are Greys, as this is their city, or one of their cities. But there are humans walking about as well. A lot of the time, what ends up happening is a lot of families.
Oh, that's cool.
Of people who work for the Concordant will come and live out
Yeah,
here.
I know. I didn't
They'll
do
be kind of
that.
like put in with the system.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Sometimes it's too much of a threat to their secrecy. But, you know, there are quite a lot
that's fair,
of humans living out here.
Yeah.
The ratio's still kind of like probably 3 to 1 or something like that. But walking out, you walk down the streets, seeing buildings from side to side. You see like a vendor. He's a gray, and he wears an apron, and you see like the big bulbous gray head and the long arms, and he's very quickly moving about and cooking. And he's like just a street vendor cooking some kind of alien meat that you just don't recognize.
Does it look good? Does it smell good? I think that's the important part. Does it smell good?
Wes is like, I got an iron stomach, let's go.
It smells fine. It looks really fucking weird, though.
He's a little tempted, but he'll keep his mind on the mission.
Yeah, we haven't earned our lunch break yet.
Don't want to eat before you get in a pod. You'll get sick.
Yeah, you need to give yourself a good 20-minute block before you go in a pod after you've eaten.
Yeah.
But you guys head off, knowing where to go. Ken did tell you. He kind of wrote it down.
Nice.
An address, basically. But you guys head off down the streets through like a farmer's market type of a thing.
Knick-knacks.
And is there anything in particular you guys do?
I don't think
on your
Wes
way
is
toward
really
this?
interested in anything. I think he's got his mind on the mission for the moment. Doesn't quite want to dilly-dally, but... Does Walt want to do something?
I imagine Walt
Wes
is
will
like taking
stop.
pictures of
Yeah,
everything.
that's what I was about to say. I like Walt, like he's walking just as fast as Wes, but like every couple seconds he's like turning around to get as many shots as possible. of, like, you know, vendors, what they're selling, people who are selling these kind of things, who's, you know, buying things, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and Wes, this may not be your first time on one of the cities, but Walt, I would say that this is at the very least one of your first.
Yeah.
Probably just like your second at the most, because most of your work as an informant was done planet side.
It was done on the ground and not exactly up here. So yeah, this is new and interesting, and damn, Walt does want to, like, get something, but he's on a mission. He understands that, but he's taking photos. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
Okay.
Damn, I want a knick-knack.
Eventually, you guys walking down the streets, you end up at your destination. You kind of do that. We kind of see you do that looking at the note that has the address and looking up and seeing the address written there. You know.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
You see, kind of like in the streets, you see that it's a little smoky out there, like kind of steam coming out from a vent swirling in the air. You had to walk down quite a few back alleys, and there's not very much traffic here. You know, there are people walking by every once in a while, some of them in, like, long coats, some of them giving you kind of the eye.
I'll give them the eye right
as they
back.
walk by you.
We're like cops.
I guess we are, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, but you're undercover. There's no reason that you guys aren't wearing a badge.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. No uniform.
Yeah.
We're just a couple of guys.
Point does not work with uniforms.
Good.
If anything, I look like a tourist because I've got a camera going on and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not suspicious.
Are you wearing it like a tourist, though? Because, like, the way that a tourist wears a camera is way different than the way a journalist wears a camera.
Yeah,
you know?
No,
it's
I'm
like you have
doing
respect
it like a
for a journalist.
Whereas
a tourist, you're like, get out of my town.
No, I'm definitely wearing it like a journalist. But the thing is, I've had it up to, like, my face for, like, I don't know, the length of the walk, so it's, like, still in my hands and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But you see you're here at the
right,
the place where you're supposed to meet with your informant.
So he's our informant, and he's seen something? Is that, like, he knows something?
You're not sure.
Okay.
You just know that he knows something.
Okay.
That he's your informant.
Right,
yeah.
right. Oh, I thought
you
there
were
was
just
maybe
sent to him.
specifics.
All right. No,
okay.
dog. Okay.
In your point cells, usually you're given, like, a very tiny seed of information.
Yeah.
And it's up to you to kind of put it all together.
Gotcha.
Do these folks have doorbells, or are we going good old door knockers?
Well, it's actually, as you approach it, thinking that to yourself, it opens up automatically, and looking inside, you see a bar.
Oh, now we have to find a fucking informant in a bar, and we don't know what he looks like because no one provided pictures.
Did we get a name?
Yeah, let's say that you did get a name.
That means I don't think we did originally, but now we're getting one.
Yeah, you'll get one. You'll get one right now. Clint,
okay.
Clint. Do we have a last name for Clint?
No.
Fuck.
Well, in that case, I would like to enter the bar and approach the bartender, assuming there is one.
Okay. You enter the bar, seeing the bar itself, off to the side with all sorts of liquors up on the wall. Some of them you recognize, others are more alien, you know, and they're kind of like segregated, the two of them. But you see all sorts of people in there. There's probably a total of like 6 people in the whole bar, kind of like most of them sitting by themselves.
There's only 6 people. Okay.
Yeah, it is not a busy bar. You're down a couple of back alleys, and in a place that isn't even really advertised as a bar.
I see.
At least not that you guys saw offhand.
Appropriately shady.
Very appropriately shady.
Nice.
I would say that this is a classic noir scene right now.
Beautiful. Wow, delicious.
Mm-hmm. You know, there's like low lights. Like I said, there's like steam coming up from the street out there. You oddly hear the sound of a trumpet in the background. No,
you gotta practice.
You don't actually,
dude. But I would like to approach the bartender. All
right, you approach the bartender, and coming up to the bar, you see that there's somebody sitting next to you in a trench coat, taking sips from a beer.
Well, I would like to catch the bartender's attention and ask him if he happens to know if someone named Clint is here. Looking for a guy named Clint.
Clint, no last name. No one fucking bothered.
Fixate on that.
The bartender... You're going to be a bad point agent if you can't work with very little information. The bartender kind of nods and motions over to the guy sitting next to you. The guy sitting there in the trench coat, he looks up. You guys part of the cell?
Yeah.
Does this bar have booths?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's been established. I would like to say to Clint, yes, we are. As a matter of fact.
He kind of chuckles to himself. I'm not Clint.
No?
And he sets down a napkin and slides it over to you.
Is the person who had the legs, so obviously there's two people in this trench coat.
Oh
the man on top is not Clint. The man on the bottom
one
half
hell of a
is...
jump in logic. Kevin.
I have a feeling Walt's not going to last long in point.
No, this is me. Walt's kind of
I know.
Yeah, Walt is kind of like hanging back at, like, near the door just in case he starts running.
He's ready to run.
The note is slid to you, and the last of the guy's beers is he slides it back and puts the glass on the table and tips his hat to you. And this is before neckbeards ruined fedoras.
Right.
This is back when they were in their proper place with investigators and detectives.
I'll nod to him and take a look at the note.
Okay. He gets up and begins to leave, though.
Ooh, okay.
If either of you guys care about that.
I mean, I do kind of care, but I want to look at the note before I try to stop
Well,
him.
alright. Well, I'm already at the door, I'm kind of like leaning by the side,
Yeah.
Observing the scene. I might have already taken a photo. I'm very quick at this, especially with the new digital camera. It's very nice.
Alright. Yeah, you snap off a photo of him.
And then I'm kind of like leaning against the door, and as he's making his way, I say, oh no, wait a minute.
Okay. Remember, too, because you did snap off a photo, is you can spend plot points to create assets.
I know,
so if you want an additional asset, of photo of this guy to be able to use later on, then you can spend your plot point to... Or you can just represent it from, using your signature, because the camera is a signature asset.
Yeah. I think if I take...
Which I believe you spend a plot point to use the signature asset. I don't remember.
Maybe. I think
we'll figure that out when it comes up.
Yeah. I think if, like, anything super specific comes up, I'll make a purposeful, like, photo asset. But if it's, like, general, like, oh, I've taken a picture of that before, we'll use the signature asset. Okay, Wes, what's on the note?
Let's see. Wes, you glance down at the napkin and you see written kind of a little hastily... my identity has been compromised. Meet me in Philadelphia. And written down is an address with North 29th on it.
I will pocket the napkin casually. I'll crumple it up and stick it in my pocket.
Okay, for sure.
And I'd like to nod to Walt.
Alright, since I've got the nod, I kind of like step away from the door and give Clint, the nod of A-OK for him to leave.
This guy who is not Clint. Not Clint. For sure.
Bottom half name. Clint.
Yep.
Top half not Clint.
I give the nod to Clint, which is the feet, the knees area, yeah.
And he nods back to you and walks out. Most conversations in noir happen wordlessly.
Yeah, exactly.
That nod was a whole conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Frankly, we're just valuing the audience's time by going into
it. Defo.
The man leaves, kind of strapping his coat a little closer to his body. What do you two do?
I'll wait for him to leave and then head over to Walt.
Yeah.
I'll take out, I'll gesture that maybe we should go outside to a little secluded spot, buy some trash cans probably.
Yeah, of course. Probably a dumpster.
Full of alien junk.
I kind of put my hand out for Wes so he doesn't walk out as soon as not Clint walks out of the bar.
Obviously, I'm waiting. Because
that's so suspicious.
I'm waiting for the appropriate moment.
Okay, well once we've hit that appropriate time wait, I follow Wes and we kind of just probably go turn a couple more alley corners until we find a good enough dumpster to hang up by.
Yeah. This is a quality dumpster. Right. Good for secret conversations.
Yes.
As you guys leave the bar, after waiting a few moments for not Clint to get away, you immediately are met with a very loud crack of a gun.
Oh, fuck!
Second recording successful. Wasn't sure I'd pull through the editing on this one. But hey, thanks for listening, everybody, and I hope that we're catching your attention with this mystery. And if you enjoyed it, please let us know. You can follow us on social media, hang out with us on our Discord server, or tweet us at Deep Fried Dice, or at our personal handles found on our website, deepfrieddice.com. There's all sorts of other stuff up there too, from details on the systems and settings I use to character information, and probably other stuff in the future. Who knows? And hey, you don't have to wait a week for the next part, because it's up right now. Go listen. And when you're done with that, come back on Fridays for more Among Us. And don't miss Treasure Ball coming this Monday. Have a great evening, everyone, and I hope to hear from you all soon.